Okay, the limud tonight is being sponsored by Talia and Itai Barish. Ili Nishmas, Talia's grandfather, Mishulam ben Tzvi, whose first yahrzeit is tonight. Neshama should have an aliyah, and it also should be Ili Nishmas, Talia's great-grandfather, Shmuel Yehuda ben Chaim Mordechai, whose yahrzeit is also tonight. Neshama should have an aliyah, and the Talmud Torah should be a schus for their neshamas. It's also being sponsored by Adina and Josh Schwartz, has a schus refuah shlema for Rachel Golda bas Sarah Leah. It's a Shem, the Limud Torah should be a schus refuah shlema for Rachel Golda bas Sarah Leah. Okay, so we are at the bottom of Tez Vavim and Beis Mitzvah Shem. We're going to do Tez Zayin and Aleph today. So the Gemara in the end of Tez Vavim and Beis discusses the next line in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, the last category of the Mishnah of needing dinim that need 71 dayanim. Ein danin loyas hashevet v'loyas hanavi sheker v'loyas hakoyin gadol LLP Bezdin shel shivim ve'echot. So first we're going to analyze that first line. Ein danin loyas hashevet. What does it mean to be a shevet, that a shevet needs 71 dayanim? What's the context? What's the isser? What's the aveira? Zok the Gemara, the bottom of Tez Vavim and Beis. Hai shevet dechota b'mai. This shevet that's being chayta, that now needs to be judged. What is the shevet? The whole shevet, shevet ben Yavin, shevet Yehuda. What is the shevet? What is the shevet sinning? Ilim a shevet shechil esa Shabbos. If it's talking about a whole shevet that is mechal Shabbos. Emer de polig rachmana ben yechidim lemerubim linyan avodas chichavim. B'shar mitzvahs mi polig. Gemara says we find precedents that the Torah really changed around the halachas completely when it comes to an amount of people and a larger transgression done by more people in the context of Avodah Zarah. It needs an analysis on its own. Really the sugyas are really tucked away at the end of Parak Chelek, Kuf Yud Gimel around Kuf Yud. So the Gemara has discussed that when the whole Ir Nidachas sins, so then suddenly their misa changes from skila to sayif, and a certain few other halachas apply to them. They don't have all their property is destroyed, and all of these halachas apply to them as there's a tremendous transformation in their din, which needs a lot of explanation why that is and what's the purpose of that and what is the nature of the halacha. But the lamais of the Torah was mechadish that an rabbim that do avodah zarah, the halacha changes. But we don't find such a concept, although it's a big chil Hashem. You don't find such a concept when it comes to other averos. So by chil Shabbos, that's not going to be the case. So the Gemara says you're right. El b'shevet shehudach. We're talking about a shevet that was hudach, that became an ir. The shevet did avodah zarah, like the din of ir nidachas, but by a whole shevet. L'meimer de bedina de rabim dainin anlei. So the Gemara says that what? So we treat them like an ir. We don't treat them like yechidim, because if it's a yachid, not only do we change, again, a yachid that does avodah zarah, he gets skila, he doesn't get sayif. The dinim of ir nidachas don't apply to him. But also another halacha doesn't apply to him. He gets killed with how many dayanim? 23 dayanim. Regular din and nefashos. The second it becomes an ir nidachas, you have to jump to now 71 dayanim. So the Gemara is saying, so a shevet that does avodah zarah, and that's what the Mishnah is talking about, so that's going to be judged with 71 dayanim. So the Gemara says, who is this going according to? You're telling me that you treat this shevet to bedina de rabbim dainin late? We treat them like the halachas of an ir nidachas, but that doesn't fit. Keman loik Rabbi Yoshia v'loik Rabbi Yonasan. This doesn't fit with any one of our opinions that judge the amount and explain what the definition of an ir nidachas is. The sanya, because the Brisa says ad kana oisa ir nidachas. When is something considered an Ir Nidachas? Miyud va'ad kuf. When a place has 10 people until 100 people. That's Divrei Rabbi Yoshia. Rabbi Yonasan Omar, no, Rabbi Yonasan says the opposite. Mikuf v'arubo shel shevet. It's an Ir Nidachas if it's what? If it's from 100 until majority of the shevet. So says the Gemara, I don't understand, but a whole shevet doesn't fit Bein Rabbi Yonasan, Bein Rabbi Yoshia. So your analysis of shevet shehudach to have a din of Ir Nidachas is incorrect according to all opinions in the Brisa. By the way, this halacha of how many people are in an Ir Nidachas to be considered an Ir, but not more than that, is brought down in the Ravid in Hilchos Megillah. The Ravid in Hilchos Megillah quotes the Yerushalmi that he says that it's important to know what's going to be an Ir, what's going to be a kfar, because the Gemaras and Megillahs has different times for different areas when you could read the Megillah. The kfar can be makdim, the first mission of Megillah can be makdim miyom haknisa. So how do you figure out? The Rambam writes that certain criteria how you figure out that it's an Ir or not. So the Ravid quotes this halacha that if it depends on what the population is. The population also will now define whether or not it's going to be a kfar or whether it's not. It's going to be an Ir. Yeah.
What's the case we're talking about? That an entire shevet should be living in one city?
Oh, that's the Chazon Ish's problem. Chazon Ish doesn't understand the case. He says, since when does a shevet have anything to do with an Ir? He says, an Ir Nidachas has to do with a city. So how did the Gemara even have a Havamina? Is it talking about a situation? Chazon Ish says, no, I don't think so, because the dinim of an Ir still apply. So the Chazon Ish says, perhaps it's talking about a situation where the whole shevet was situated in one specific Ir, and then you had a din of Ir Nidachas, but also the whole shevet was Hudach. They lived there. They were inhabitants. Yeah.
It's not the Metzias of the Nachlas. They have the whole people have their land here and their land there.
Right. That's the Chazon Ish's heart. Right. That's his kasha. So what happens in this situation? Unless you have some other way to get around, but he asks your kasha. He says, I don't understand. They're not, if they're going to live dispersed within each other. It's not going to be an Ir. So how are you going to have that situation? So let's say you would have a situation that they're all living in one Ir. Right, Ir Nidachas never happened. That's true, but I think he does point out that it doesn't even work out within the history. Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. It says shevet. Uh-huh. So that's talking about the whole. Okay, let's see the maskana. Right, and the taich there is talking about. Okay, so let's see the maskana of the Gemara. So the Gemara says that it can't be in a shevet. It can't be a shevet because it's already out of the bounds of what an Ir Nidachas is. Afilu Rabbi Yonasan, and even Rabbi Yonasan that allows for a larger Ir, like Kamer Elarubo, Aval Kulo, but a whole shevet, lo. So says the Gemara, Amrav Masna, Hacha Benasi Shevet Shechata Askin, and you're right. It's not talking about a shevet that did Avodah Zarah, a shevet that did Avodah Zarah. So if it's not talking about a shevet that did Avodah Zarah, so a shevet that does Avodah Zarah, what would be the din? Skila, 23 dayanim, no special din of Ir Nidachas. Major nafkamina is how we deal with this avodah zarah. Do we deal with like a yachid or like a rabbin? So Gemara says, "Milay Amar of Adabar Ava." So you're talking about a nasi that does a chait in any one of the misas bezdin. He can't be judged in a regular court of 23 dayanim. He has to be judged with 71. Amar of Adabar Ava kol adavar agadol yavil lech devar shel gadol. Hainami gadol hu. So the Gemara says. Kol adavar agadol yaviu elecha dvar shel gadol. Not only should you bring something difficult to Moshe Rabbeinu, but you should bring the actual court cases that are being prosecuted against the nasi, and that is the category of the shevet. Didn't mean the shevet; it means the nasi shel shevet. because of this kasha, because it can't be shevet shehudach. So Gemara says, Ula Amar Blazer beboyin al iski nachlas. Total different example, totally different explanation. Ula says it's talking about where you have a machlokes within the inheritance of Eretz Yisrael. Uketchilaso shel Eretz Yisrael. Right? And it's just like the beginning of inhabiting Eretz Yisrael. Matchilaso shivim ve'echad, just like at the beginning when Klal Yisrael got their nachala. Right? There was the necessity to have 71 dayanim, so too our Mishnah is saying that you need 71 dayanim in any machlokes linyan nachla. If there's a machlokes in the shevet about the borders. So the Gemara says if that's going to be the case, that's how you're going to know you're going to need 71 dayanim for any machlokes, so you shouldn't be suffice with only 71 dayanim. Imat chilasa kalpei urim v'tumim v'chol Yisrael afkan kalpei urim v'tumim v'chol Yisrael. You should make everything like the original Nesina of Eretz Yisrael, and clearly we're not going to have that in Urim V'tumim. We didn't have even Gemara Yuma says we didn't have an Urim V'tumim in the second Beis Hamikdash, so we're not going to have an Urim V'tumim, and therefore we're not going to need 71 dayanim to resolve a dispute amongst the Nachla. Ela machvarta kidrav masna. Really, the best pshat is the nasi that of the shevet that does an avera. So we go back to that second answer. So Ravina says, Ravina Amar Lo'elam b'shevet shehudach. No, let's go back to the original answer, and we're going to say that it's talking about a shevet that does irni dachas. Udekakashelach bedina de rabim daininan lei. And the Gemara says, you're going to treat him like an irni dachas, but isn't it over the numbers? So Gemara says, in afal gav tekatlinan biyachid. Even though we're killing them like a yachid, which means what? Says Rashi, the dina shel shevet b'skila. You're right. They're out of the parsha of irni dachas. They're not going to get the punishment of sayif, which is the din of an irni dachas, and they're not going to lose all their nechasim. They're going to have inheritance towards their children, even though they're going to be killed. So they're not going to have the din of dina de rab. But Beidina de Rabim Dainin Alei. But we're still going to kill them with 71 dayanim. So you have this half and half case. You have a shevet that did avodah zarah. A shevet that did avodah zarah is already uprooted from the category of being an ear. It's not an ear any dachas, but it's still not sufficient for you to kill them with 23 dayanim. Even though they're all going to get skila, they're not going to get the punishment of an irni dachas. They're going to need 71 dayanim for the following reason. Why? Miloi Amar Rab Chamer Rabbi Yosef Amar Rabbi Yoshia. It's a pasuk. V'oitzeisa es ha'isha hu o es ha'isha ahi. What's this pasuk talking about? Skila. That when I want to administer skila to a person, it has to be es ha'isha hu o es ha'isha ahi. So the Torah was memait. Ish v'isha ata motzi l'sha'arecha. When it comes to a man and woman, I can kill by the bezdin of sha'arecha, the bezdin of chav gimel. V'ata motzi kol ya'ir kul l'sha'arecha. Hachanami ish v'isha ata motzi l'sha'arecha. V'i ata motzi kol ha'shevet kul l'sha'arecha. And if it's not going to go to my sha'arecha, where's it going to go? It's going to go to the bezdin agadol b'Yerushalayim, the bezdin of Ayin Aleph. So Gemara says you're right. It's not that the shevet shehudach has a din of an irni dachas. There's a specific zeres hakasif telling me that I have to kill them with the Sanhedrin of Ayin Aleph. Fine, let's go weiter. So Gemara says, lo yas hanavi sheker. A person who is claiming to be a prophet is sheker. So the Gemara says you can't kill him with the Sanhedrin of Chaf Gimel. You have to kill him with the Sanhedrin Agadol, with Sanhedrin of Ayin Aleph. So Gemara says, Minani Mili. What's the marker for this? That you need the big Sanhedrin for a Navi Sheker. So Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yosi bar Chanina, Asya hazada mi Zakein Mamrei. V'gzeir Shaveh. Just like by Zakein Mamrei, you need what? The Sanhedrin Agdoila, Mala halam b'shivim ve'echad, Afkan b'shivim ve'echad. Just like over there, you need the Sanhedrin Gdoila, So too, over here, you need the Sanhedrin Gdela. Okay? Va'azada kiksiva bektala hu diksiva. Says the Gemara, but that's problematic. The hazada that's said by a Zakein Mamrei is said by the point in time that you're going to kill him. Rashi says, kiksiva bektala ksivi, uktala didei be'esrim v'shlosha. Techiksiv v'kamta v'alisa ba'ora ksiv, shebon l'sholo, mayoru v'chozel l'iro. Im horolasas kebetchila nidon keshara mumasim b'chav kibel. Says the Gemara, but the pasuk of hazada is said in what context? When you're going to put the Zakein Mamrei to death. If you're going to put the Zakein Mamrei to death, how are you going to put him to death? You need to put him to death, says the Gemara, with 23 dayanim. So if you're going to put him to death with 23 dayanim, that's now going to be a very bad limud to now learn that a Navi Sheker needs 71 dayanim. So the Gemara says, you're right. El Amr Ishlakish, Gomer Dover Dover Miyamar. Also, so the Gemara says, you're right, you learn another Gzeira Shaba from the Hamra, which means what? There are two stages of a Zakein Mamrei. Zakein Mamrei is not only, he originally argues with his Bezdin, then he schleps up to the Sanhedrin Agdola, right? Finally, he's arguing on the Bezdin Agadol, and then he goes back to teach against what the Bezdin Agadol told him. He ignores what the Bezdin Agadol instructed him, and he's Mamre against him, so then the Bezdin kills him and puts him to death. So, meaning, he needs a Hamra, he needs to rebel against the Bezdin Agadol, against the Bezdin of Ayin Aleph. So as long as we have a limud to kill the Navi Sheker from the word of Dover that was used at the Shas Hamra, that could now be a source for the necessity of 71 dayanim, even by a Navi Sheker, because part of the Parsha that says Dover by Zakein Mamrei is also by 71 dayanim. So the Gemara asks, "V'lahadar Zakein Mamrei v'ligmor hazada hazada mi Navi Sheker." So why don't we learn back to Zakein Mamrei that he should need 71 dayanim to need what? To kill the Zakein Mamrei? So the Gemara says, Dover Dover Gomer hazada hazada lo Gomer. So this is Rashi says that we don't, even though a person could don a kal v'chomer on his own, Rashi says, a Gzeira Shava you can't make up on his own, and it's whatever halach l'moshmisina, whatever the Moshe Rabbeinu gave us, that's the Gzeira Shava we're going to learn, and we were given the Gzeira Shava of Dover Dover, we weren't given the Gzeira Shava of Hazada Hazada. So if you have the Rambam, so the Rambam here, in the laws in Hilchos Mamrei, he talks about the Zakein Mamrei, right? So he said v'keitzad in halachas, v'keitzad don in parakim halachas, v'keitzad don in Zakein Mamrei, v'eishi yipala adavar v'yoreh b'chacham ha'magia lo ra. This is something we spoke about in the past. A Zakein Mamrei can't be with anyone. He has to be of a certain stature. So machlokes Rashi and the Rambam, what does that mean? The Rambam holds he has to be higia lo ra, he has to have smicha. And Rashi holds that he has to be 40 years old. Bein b'davar sheyira be'enav bein b'davar sheyikabel mirabosov areihu v'acholken imun olim Yerushalayim. They go up. They start at machlokes. They go up to Yerushalayim. Ubon lebezdin shal pesach harbayis. First they come to the outer bezdin. V'omer lem bezdin kachu adin. Im shama v'kibel mu'amut. Im lav kulam bon lebezdin shal pesach hazar. If he still wants to argue, he goes up to the bezdin in the pesach hazar. And you go through the deliberation, and if he wants to be makabel, okay. If not, you keep going, and you go to the bezdin shebelishkas hagazis shemisham Torah yotze lechol Yisrael shenemar min hamakom hahu ubezdin omerlo kachu adin v'yotzen kulam chazer zeh hachacham shecholak al bezdin leira v'shana v'lima kederach shu lamed harei zeh potter hora lasos o she'asa koroso chayev misa ve'in tzarech lasra. If he changes his mind, then he's fine. But if he goes against the Bezdin Agadol, then he's Chayev Misa and he doesn't get Hasra. One of the examples of a person who doesn't get Hasra, like a Mesis. Hafil Nasan Tam Derav, in Shomanlo, Elakevin Shabo Edim Sha'asu, Karaso, O Shahora, Lachirim, Las Gorim, Dina Lamisa, Bebezdin Shebeira. So, sounds like 23, right? Vitofsin Olo, Oso Umalan Oso Misham Yerushalayim. Ve'ein me misin oso lo bebezdin shebeiro v'lo bebezdin hagadol sheyatzu chutz Yerushalayim ela malin oso lebezdin hagadol shebeYerushalayim u'mishamrim oso ad haregel v'chokin oso beregel shenemar v'chol Yisrael yishmu v'yirol mechlal shetzarech hachraza. So who kills him? Bezin hagadol. Bezin hagadol killed him. So what's happening with the 23 dayanim? 23 dayanim l'chora are paskening that he's chayiv misa. So that's against our Gemara. Again, what did our Gemara say? Rabbi say. Our Gemara said that what? $71. So who kills him? 23. Ram is against our Gemara. Ram is against our Gemara. So, to be honest, it's not such a problem because it's a machlekes Tanai. If you turn to Daf Peites, the Mishnah quotes a machlekes Tanaim about this. Mishnah says, "Ein me misino so lo bebezdin shebeiro, lo bebezdin shebeyavne, ela malin so lebezdin agodosh b'Yerushalayim, u'mishamrin so ad haregel ma misino so beregel, shnemer v'chol ha'om yishmu v'yiro v'lo yazidin od." Divrei Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein ma'anes dino shel zeh. No, Rabbi Yehuda says this is inu yadin. This is not right. El me misino so miyad v'kol v'shochin shluchin b'chol ha'mekomos. Ish plonim is chayiv misa bebezdin. So Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is that as long as you put it in the papers, that's enough of a achraza. And Rabbi Akiva clearly held that no, you have to actually do the misa there. So the Rambam l'chora paskin like Rabbi Akiva, but not. But what's interesting over here is that the Rambam seems to combine both of them. Let's see the Rambam also in Hilchos Sanhedrin. The Rambam in the top of Halacha Aleph, Zakein ein nase Zakein Mamrei v'lo onshin ir nidachas v'lo mashkin es hashoyte elo bebezdin hagadol. The Rambam clearly writes over here, if you look at the Kesef Mishnah at the top corner, the Kesef Mishnah writes, V'nira shalazet, the second line, V'nira shalazet, Amrinim b'demimisa Zakein Mamrei b'shal esrim v'shal shav also b'inin al pi bezin shal ayin aleph. Means you need the hamra'ah, like you said, Abe, to be in front of 71. He has to rebel against the 71 dayanim. But the killing has to be misaso, is with 23. For nirishal is zenis kavin rabinu. Look at the Kesef Mishnah's diak and the Rambam. The she'ein osin zakin mamrei. What do you need 71 dayanim for? To make the asiyah. The low cost of ein memisin zakin mamrei. The kashalan midis name perik bas the Sanhedrin gabi zaken mamrei in memisno son lo bebezin shabiyur lo bebezin shabiyavne ela malonos lo bebezin agolish Yerushalayim v'nishar lanu ladas minayin shein mamidin. Okay, so that's it. So the Rambam clearly here, if I just had this Rambam in Perik Sanhedrin, Perik Hilchos Sanhedrin, I would think that all the Rambam needs the Bezdin Agadol for is for the process to rebel against the Sanhedrin Agadol. But then you look at, first of all, the way the Rambam paskins from the Gemara and Peites, the Rambam paskins that no, the Misa has to be administered by the Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph, right? But that's not exactly what he says in Halacha Perek Gimel. Because again, what does he say? Gomrim dino lemisa bebezdin shabeiro. So who's administering the misa's bezdin? Chav Gimel. Sorry, not administering. Who's the pronouncement? Right. Who's the pronouncement? Who's the psak din? It's the Sanhedrin of Chav Gimel. So that's going to resolve our Gemara. But then what type of halacha is this? So then why do you have to... The Rambam seems to combine these, is nishta here, nishta here. If I would just have the Mishnah on Peites, so I would say, if you paskin like Rabbi Akiva, not like Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says, leave Bezin Agadol alone. Let's do the job over here, let's finish the job. Let's do everything over here 23 dayanim. Rabbi Akiva says, no, that's not the case. I thought what that meant was that, okay, Rabbi Akiva is going to be against this Gemara. Rabbi Akiva is going to be against this Gemara. I mean, when the Gemara says the Bezdin that's going to paskin a din of a Zakein Mamrei, Rabbi Akiva is going to hold that is Ayin Aleph. It's not 23. The psak din of a Zakein Mamrei is insufficient with 23 dayanim. Now, what bothers me is that the Gemara never said anything about this being totally on a machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Akiva, which is very strange. But also, you have to also connect the dots back to the Mishnah. Again, what did the Mishnah say? Ain't done lo as hashev, lo as hanavi sheker, lo as a kohen gadol, all be business sheshivim ve'echad. I have a question. You want to tell me that the Gemara is going according to Rabbi Yehuda? Fine, I'll give it to you. Again, our Gemara clearly said that the psak is with 23, and you can't learn Navi Sheker from Zakein Mamrei, right? So our Gemara, you want to fetch to me, I think it's a little strange, that the Gemara is going according to Rabbi Yehuda, based on the Gemara, Mishnah, and Peites. But what's with this Mishnah? Why wouldn't the Mishnah say that it's going, Zu Divrei, the Mishnah should say that there's an additional person according to Rabbi Akiva. It should say Zu Divrei Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi Yehuda. The Mishnah doesn't say anything. It's very, very strange. Stam Mishnah is neither. It's a mayor. So what are you going to do over here? So Rav Soloveitchik had a fascinating approach, which I think deals with a lot of our questions over here. He was really coming just to explain how the Rambam, on the one hand, said that this is going to be a psak of a 23 dayanim, which clearly the Rambam saw this within Rabbi Akiva, but at the same time, you're going to schlep him up and bring him up to the Sanhedrin of Ayin Aleph. What is that? If the Dayanim paskin, so let them finish the job. Well, what are you delaying things? Rabbi Yehuda's right. Ein ma'anin esadin. So he doesn't quote this, but there's a Knesses Hagdolah. That the Knesses Hagdolah says, you schlep him up, the Rambam is saying you schlep him up, and the psak is going to be with 23 Dayanim. Listen to what this Knesses Hagdolah says. And it's enough to have 23 Dayanim even when you go back up to Yerushalayim, because the din has to be with 23 Dayanim, like our Gemara says. But within the number of the 23 Dayanim that's going to administer the capital punishment over here, make sure that there are some members of the Sanhedrin Gedol. This is like even more bothersome than anything we've talked about before. And now you're going to mix and match and say, you know what, we want.
Because it's a massive based in.
So says Rav Soloveitchik, Al Pidin, the Mishnah does not include a Zakein Mamrei. You do not need Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph to kill a Zakein Mamrei. But the Rambam is telling you that you have to schlep him up for the Shas Misa. Why? It has to be in front of the Ayin Aleph. And I'm telling you that the Knesset HaGedolah is telling you that even if it's with 23 Dayanim over there, it has to be with some members of the Ayin Aleph. Why? The Seder of Soloveitchik, there's a Gemara on Peiches. The Gemara has a deya that if the Bezdin HaGadol Sheb'Yushalayim is moichel, the Zakein Mamrei is not chayiv misa. We happen to not paskin like that deya. But the reason why we don't paskin is not necessarily because we disagree fundamentally with him. Says Rav Soloveitchik, by the fact that you could have a tzat, that the Bezdin HaGadol Sheb'Yushalayim could be moichel, and therefore pater this Zakein Mamrei that's arguing with the Rabbonim Gedolim HaChashuvim Sheb'Yushalayim, sounds like the din of Zakein Mamrei is a pchisas kavod to the kavod of the Bezdin HaGadol. And if they chose to be moichel, that day held, so then there's no mechayev of that isser of Zakein Mamrei, of that chiv misa of Zakein Mamrei. Now, you'll tell me we don't paskin like that, so we must disagree. It could be that we don't paskin because, like we pointed out, the Sanhedrin Gedolah doesn't only represent their own kavod, but they represent all of Am Yisrael, like we pointed out in many of the shiurim that we mentioned. One of the elements of the Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph, what it represents. So there could be a technicality that they can't be moichel, but when you talk about the issue of Zakein Mamrei, the Zakein Mamrei is a person who's rebelling against the Bezdin HaGadosh b'Yushalayim. So argued Rav Soloveitchik, perhaps, even though his din misa is really nitan for the 23 dayanim, but the shas misa has to be with the Sanhedrin being there to demonstrate that this person is being killed for the Pchisas Kavod, for the Hamra, for the rebellion against these people. They're part of the Machayiv of his Misa. So therefore it's crucial that they should be there for the Shas Misa. And that's why the Rambam said, even though it's being a psak of 23, they're not going to administer it, they're not going to carry it out, they're going to schlep him up and do the Misa in front of the 71 Dayanim, which we never had in any other case in any other halacha, that the different Bezdin is going to be there at the Shas Misa than the ones that paskin. And I think that would be the pshat also according to the Knesset Agdola. According to the Knesset Agdola, that it's sufficient, since it's a din of 23, you don't even need the 71 by the Shas Misa. You just have to make sure that this 23 Dayanim have some members of the Sanhedrin Gdola. Why? Because again, that's the Machayiv. That's the reason why this person is getting killed. It's not sufficient for him just to have a psak din. It has to be b'shas misa that the people that he now went up against and rebelled against are now going to be present to now allow him to now be killed. Nafkamina, what happens if the Sanhedrin Gdola? What happens if the Sanhedrin Gdola would not, well, the truth is you wouldn't have Misa then. They wouldn't be in there in the Lishkas HaGazas, you wouldn't have a Chi of Misa anyways. But if there is no Sanhedrin Gdola there, so then it could be that there's no Chi of Misa in such a situation because you wouldn't be able to carry out. It's a fascinating idea that when it comes to this din of Zakein Mamrei, it's not sufficient just to paskin that this guy now is Chayav Misa and now let's just carry out what we paskin. No. Now the actual Misa has to be in the presence of possibly another type of court, or even if it's the same type of court, members of the Sanhedrin Gedolah, because the Sibas HaChiv, the reason why he's getting Misa is because of his rejection and his rebellion and what he was teaching against these Dayanim HaChashuvim and his Pchisas Kavod for them. So therefore, part and parcel of the rectification. And his way to get Chi of Misa is only if the Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph is going to be present there. Otherwise, I mean, the kashas are so glaring. Stimming this, our Gemara, which takes as a davar pashut, that it's Chav Gimel, and you stim that with the Mishnah, and you try to stim that with our Mishnah, there's something that has to be explained with this Rambam, and apparently there's some element to the Ayin Aleph in the Shas Misa that's not only part of the Psak Din, because of the nature of the Isser over here, of the Hamra, of the rebellion, of the Zakein Mamrei. Okay. Rav Shemachal al Kvol Kvol Machal. No, Rav Shemachal al Kvol Kvol Machal. Rav Shemachal al Kvol Machal. We paskin Kvol Machal. Yeah. Mar says Talmud Chacham Shemachal al Kvol Machal because Torah dilehu, because the Torah becomes your Torah. It's not anymore. The Gemara says that it removes itself from being HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah and now becomes part and parcel of you. You're now a Bailam in the Torah. A Melech can't be Meichel, and that din of Melech not being able to Meichel also needs a Hezber. Why can't a Melech Shemachal al Kvodo Ein Kvodo Machal? So the Pashtus is something like what we're trying to say by the Ayin Aleph. The Melech is not his personal kavod. Either the Melech represents the kavod of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's what some of Farshim explain, that he only has a Malchus because he of HaKadosh Baruch Hu granted him the Malchus. So who is he? How could you make yourself a melech? It's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mati you to melech. Now you're going to be meichel on the melech, so ask for the Rabbi Shalom, who's the bailam of the malchus. Or the Pashup Shad, as many Rishonim say, Sefer HaChinuch sounds like, he's only a melech because of the Am. So how can it be meichel on his kavod? It's not his covet. It's the Am's covet. So if Sanhedrin has that element, so now we can understand why the Sanhedrin can't be Meichel. But we want to ask, how could there even been a tzad that Mechila can remove? There's no. You did something wrong to me. I could be Meichel you, and suddenly that's going to be a help you in a Chiyuv Misa. Even tshuva never helps you. It's a shaila in the Nedi Yehuda. Why doesn't tshuva, why can't tshuva help for Misa's Bezdin? So the shaila in Nedi Yehuda has a tshuva, but why doesn't if tshuva is really, if we really want to make a big deal about tshuva, so then prove it. So now I want to do tshuva, and the Gemara says that many of the people, they tried to convince the people that were chayv Misa's Bezdin to do tshuva, and yet it didn't work. It didn't stop it. Tshuva is Hareini Ka'acher, the Rambam says, I have a new name. Why are you killing me? I don't have that idea anymore. I'm not. Okay, so the Nedi Yehuda works on that shaila, why tshuva can't work in this world. For this, our hands are tied. But with one exception. Irani Dachas, tshuva might work. Okay, weiter. Ninveh was not Mises Bezdin. Ninveh was Mises B'dei Shemayim. Tshuva for sure works Mises B'dei Shemayim. No. Tshuva for sure works Mises B'dei Shemayim. That's why we sell all our seats Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. I'm saying Tshuva's not going to work. Then we're in big trouble. Fine. V'loyas HaKohen Gadol. So the Gemara says you need to judge the Kohen Gadol with Sanhedrin of 71. The Gemara says Minani Mile. How do you know that you have to judge a Kohen Gadol with a Sanhedrin of 71? Amar of Ada Barabda Amar Kra. Kol Adavar HaGadol Yaviu Elech. The pasuk says in Yisro, right? Yeah. Pasuk says that Yisro said all the difficult things, we should have lower courts, and all the difficult things should come to Moshe Rabbeinu. Dvar of Shel Gadol. So what does that mean? It means that Dvar of Shel Gadol means for the Kohen Gadol. Meisvei. So the Gemara, in fact, the Kasha, is that true? Davar Gadol, Davar Kasha. Ata Omer Davar Kasha. Eino Dvar of Shel Gadol. Is it Davar Kasha, or is it Dvar of Shel Gadol? Kishu Omer es Davar Kasha. Since there's a pasuk that already states Davar Kasha Yaviu al Moshe, Hari Davar Kasha Omer. So you already have the difficult thing that's said that's going to be brought to Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Gemara says, Hu da Amr ki haitan desanya. This is like the other brayse. Davar gadol dvar shel gadol. At Omer dvar shel gadol. You know davar kasha. Shu Omer davar kasha. Aver davar kasha Amr. Manim come dvar shel gadol. Dvar shel gadol. Since the Torah repeated itself and said davar gadol after davar kasha, and davar kasha was already said, so davar gadol obviously doesn't mean a difficult entity. It means the din of the kohen gadol. And therefore, the din of a kohen gadol needs Sanhedrin of Ayin Aleph, because Moshe Rabbeinu was b'makom Ayin Aleph. V'hai trei kro lamli. So the Gemara says, and the manda Amr that doesn't learn Davar HaGadol to mean kohen gadol, but rather it means what? Davar HaKasha. So why do you need two psukim to tell me Davar HaKasha? So the Gemara says, Mani Mekayim Davar HaGadol, v'hai trei kro lamli, chad l'tzava ba'alma v'chad la'asiyah. One to command you to go to Moshe Rabbeinu with the Davar Kasha, and ones that they actually carried it out. The idach imkein lichtov oy gadol oy kasha my gadol my kasha. Why did it switch it? Shma mina tarti, so I can learn both the fact that there was a tzivoy and an asiya, and also the fact that the dvar shel kohen gadol has to be of the Sanhedrin Ayin Aleph. So now the Gemara poses the following suffix. Boy Reb Blazer. So Reb Blazer has the following suffix. So you know that a kohen gadol has to be judged with 71 dayanim. Shoro shel kohen gadol bekama. What if the ox of a kohen gadol? So Rashi says dafka shor nagach. I don't know what compelled Rashi to say shor nagach. There's a few different cases that were possible. You could have shor sharava, that also usually has 23 dayanim, we learned. Or shor shenagach. But Rashi specifically limited our Gemara to be shor shenagach. So the Gemara wants to know bekama. So when the Gemara says lemisas bailim didei midaminan lei, do we make a parallel to this specific bailim? So if the kohen gadol owned an ox, this ox now would have to be judged with 71 dayanim. Or dilma lemisas bailim da alma midaminan lei. Or do you say no? Do you compare it to Misas Bailim de Alma? Which means most people, which would be 23 dayanim. Again, so what's the Gemara assuming? If you remember, the Gemara says, how do you know a shore that's nogeach needs 23 dayanim? So Gemara says there's a pasuk. Kemisas habaylim gam bala v'yumos. Kemisas habaylim kach misas hashor. There's a hekesh between the misa of the baylim that gets 23 dayanim if he kills to the misa of a shore when he kills. Fine. So now the Gemara wants to know what's the nature of that limud. Is that limud now specifically to in general misas baylims that there should be 23 dayanim, or to this specific case because over here or dvar of shel kohen gadol will be with ayin aleph. So the Gemara says, I don't know. The Gemara leaves off in a suffix. Amar Rabbi, shoro. Abai says, why are you asking specifically by a shore? Let's say the Kohen Gadol had a din Torah about, I don't know, some financial case, some asset, some other issue. Not a shore shenogach. Mal the same a whole because of kol davar agol. So the Gemara says the motive pshita. So the Gemara says pshita. So the Gemara says, yeah, we know that that's not going to be ayin aleph. Mal the same a whole because of kol davar agol. Kol davar shagol kamash balan. So Gemara says, no, I would have thought maybe kol davar shagol kamash balan that it's not, and it's only the suffix by shore. So what is taka the din? So the Rambam doesn't tell us. The Rambam doesn't paskin this Gemara. He doesn't tell us if a shor shel kohen gadol, not a shaila that comes up too often. The shor of a kohen gadol needs ayin aleph or needs 23. So comes along the Gilliam Maharsha in the back of our Gemaras. And he says, I'll tell you why the Ram didn't tell you. Because the Rambam paskin a different Gemara. If you look in the Eitzer Mefarshim of the Gemara, it's a short, it's in the second of the Eitzer Mefarshim. I'll read it out loud. Berambam lesamizeh. The Rambam does not quote this halacha. Mishnah Parakeh Sanhedrin halacha Aleph. So it says there, Ein Parak Yud Minizke Maman halacha Zayin. Look at the Rambam Paskin in Parak Yud Minizke Maman halacha Zayin. V'hulag Makamon Daf Ayin Chesam et Aleph. And this is a Gemara. He's Paskin the Gemara on Daf Ayin Chesam et Aleph. What's the Gemara? Amar Rava Shor Shel Adam Treifa Shaharag Potter. What's the Gemara? The Gemara in Ayin Chesam and Aleph tells us that if a shore is noigeach another person and he kills him, so you would think that you should have the din of shor shenagah, that you should kill the shore, but his bailim is a treifa. So Gemara says the shore is potter. Why is the shore potter? In bail of yumos, kemisas ha-bailim, kach misas ha-shore. So if the bailim is a treifa, and the bailim cannot have what? The Gemara says, you can't have eidish ata yochel azima. You can't tell me that your edus, that now you're going to give testimony about this person, is now going to be edus, because how are you going to be mazim these edim? What did these edim try to do? They tried to kill, what? Let's talk about not a case of, let's talk about echad shahareg is a treifa. And edim want to come and testify. So it's a good testimony. Person is mamish on it. He's a treifa. He's like what we spoke about a few weeks ago. He's mamish. He's gonna die. He's a guy, what the Gemara calls a gavrik tailor. He's technically living, but he's a treifa. So now Edom walk in and say he killed him. Is that edus? The Gemara says that's edus that you can't accept. Why is that edus that I can't accept? Because I can't be mazim these edom. Because how could I say kasher zama? You're gonna get ritzicha like what you tried to do? No, I'm not. I never tried to do ritzicha. Why? Because I tried to kill a gavrik tailor. I didn't try to kill a living being, a perfectly healthy person. So now the Gemara says, so too when it comes to a misas hashor of an adam treifa. Just like by the bailim you can't kill him because what? He's a gavrik tailor, he's a treifa. So too by the shore. So says the Gilliam Maharsha, unbelievable aura, the Gilliam Maharsha. The Rambam, you think, didn't paskin like this? Of course the Rambam paskin like this. The Rambam paskin that Gemara. So I have a different question. How could our Gemara have this suffix? Why isn't it dependent on the... No one connects these two Gemaras before the Gilyon Marsha. But why isn't our Gemara totally dependent on that Gemara? Doesn't that Gemara assume that you're taking into account the Kamisas Habaylim, Kamisas Hashor is Mamish Kamisas Hashor? That we're Mamish looking at this very case and we're looking how healthy the owner is and what his status is and what his situation is? So too you're going to do that. That's going to be to the Bailam of the Kohen Gadol. And if the Kohen Gadol needs Ayin Aleph, so then the shore is going to need Ayin Aleph. How do these Gemaras exist independently? How could the Gemara have a suffix of whether or not you would need 71? Do we link the shore to the owner specifically in the Kohen Gadol? And the Gemara is saying by a treifa that owns the shore that he would be pater from Misa. So we'll stop there. Listen to your answers.